How to learn NLP and not become arrogant or narcissistic. Stay tuned. How do you learn NLP and not become arrogant or narcissistic? Before I get into that, I just wanted to say I'm super excited because today is open enrollment for my NLP Ultimate Online Practitioner Training. The enrollment will be open from today, January 6th, through January 20th, and at that point it will close. So you want to make sure you get in before it closes, and also in the first week, if you sign up, you get a free coaching session with me. That's a one-on-one coaching session. So hope to see you soon in the training. I really wanted to address this issue because it's something that comes up a lot in NLP, and actually I've heard people say or call it arrogance training. So what is this all about? Why would NLP be arrogance training? Why does it have that reputation? Does it attract arrogant people, or does it make people arrogant? And my answer to that is actually both. Anything that you can learn that might give you an advantage over others is going to attract narcissistic or arrogant people. And NLP absolutely can do that. It can give you an advantage, especially when it comes to persuasion and influence and inner game. So it's going to attract people like that. Now, that doesn't mean that you're arrogant because you want to learn NLP. That doesn't mean that at all. There's some dedicated NLPers who are quite grounded and quite humble and are not arrogant or narcissistic at all. I've met plenty of arrogant scientists, lawyers, and doctors as well who think they're smarter than everybody else. So it's not just NLP, it could be anything. I would say about a third of the NLPers I've met and about a third of NLP trainers that I've met I would classify as arrogant or narcissistic. So what is that about? Did NLP make them that way, or were they like that before? I'm not really sure, but what I am sure of, it's on an individual basis. Let's talk about how NLP can actually make you narcissistic or make you arrogant. What happens is when people really get good at NLP, they realize what their programming is, what creates how they feel about themselves or how they think about themselves. If you were to think about it for a moment, if I were to ask you, when you think of you, what do you think about? And that's a hard question for a lot of people because they'll start conceptualizing about it. But when you're conceptualizing about yourself, that's more about an assessment of how you think about who you are. For example, if I have images and sounds or voices in my mind about being very kind, and I value kindness, then I'm going to feel good about myself. The feeling good about myself is my self-esteem. That's the conceptualizing about myself. The images or the audio or both is what I'm using to make that assessment. So if I have a lot of positive images and a lot of positive sounds, which are basically a database of experiences that reflect on who I want to be, I'm going to feel good about myself and I'm going to have high self-esteem. As people get good at NLP, they realize they can change personal history, they can change up the programming, they can make a negative experience into a positive experience. And this is one of the great things about NLP, and this is why we learn it. However, some take it a step further and they go for perfection. And they think, well, if I make a perfect database where I don't have mistakes, or I have not made mistakes, or I can cloak the mistakes that I've made in the past, then this will make me better and stronger. It makes a lot of sense. It's intuitive, actually. A lot of people unknowingly, as they start to become aware of their programming, go in and start changing it. They remove all the mistakes and they make it perfect. In the movie The Matrix, when Neo meets the architect of the Matrix, the architect explains that the first Matrix was perfect. It was a creation of art, he even calls it. He blames our fallen human nature for not accepting the program, and humans would not accept the Matrix when it was perfect. And this has to do with our greater wisdom. Our greater wisdom won't buy perfection. Our greater wisdom knows better. So when you're creating a database of perfection, there's a greater wisdom that you have to suppress. What happens is it actually makes your self-concept less strong. It makes it weak. It makes it unstable when you remove your imperfections from it. A healthy and strong self-concept will have between 5 and 15% imperfections integrated into your database of experience. So when NLPers get good, oftentimes they unknowingly and with good intentions go into their past, into their experiences, and remove these imperfections and remove what they considered mistakes. The result is they overcompensate by trying to make this real. They have to suppress their greater wisdom telling them this isn't real, you're not perfect. They suppress that, and they have to then go proving themselves that they are perfect. They're trying to make it real. And this is a huge pitfall when people start to become good at NLP. When you have imperfections integrated into your database and you're not overly focused on those imperfections, rather you accept them as having happened, and you know how you want to be instead, how you want to move into the future, this creates a very strong database, a very durable and resilient database of experience for your self-concept. You can also handle taking feedback. Ever try to give feedback to a narcissist? What happens? They either argue you into the ground or they just get away from you. They will not accept feedback, even though you can say it in the most polite way. They just can't accept it, because what you're doing is you're showing them those counterexamples. You're bringing that to their attention, and they have to keep this pristine database, and you're dirtying it up, so they need to get away from you or they need to fight with you. So this is why so many NLPers become arrogant, and it doesn't have to be that way. Learning NLP doesn't mean you have to go and try to completely take away your imperfections and mistakes. You want to always be improving, but you have to accept the past, you have to accept your mistakes, and you want to listen to that greater wisdom that tells you that nothing is perfect. The other thing that happens is when you have people who get good at NLP and they become narcissistic or arrogant, they teach people NLP, and we tend to model our teachers because that's why we're learning from them, because we want something that they have, or we want to be like them in a certain way. Maybe not completely, but we want to be like them, at least for what we're learning from, whatever it is that we're learning from them. And in doing that, we model them and imitate them. And I'm not going to name any names, but there are some very famous NLP teachers who I would not model and imitate. I would want their knowledge, but I would not want to model and imitate them. And you see a lot of their students doing that. Especially teachers who are very charismatic, their students want to be like them. They will start acting like them. They will start becoming like them. And they will become arrogant like them oftentimes. So this is what you want to avoid. As you get good at this, just remember that you need to allow your mistakes to have happened so that you can learn from them and accept them. Don't focus on them, because if you focus on them, you tend to create more of them. Just remember that they're there and they're okay, and accept them and accept yourself. And there's a lot of ways that you can do this really effectively. You can tune up your database. I have to cover that in a different video though. Check out my website, nlp-gym.com. If you like this video, please click like right down here and subscribe to this channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. Also, open enrollment is right now. Click the link below and you can go to the landing page where you can find out more about this training, see if it's right for you, and then go ahead and sign up and register for the NLP Gym's Ultimate Online NLP Practitioner Training. Take care.